Good morning, this is Vaughan, westcoatbellpottery.ca in Nova Scotia, Canada. I've got 3 videos I want to do in the next day or two. One is this kiln unloading, doing some new glazes that I've actually been playing with. And another one is a reduction firing in my gas kiln using similar tests. And an attempt to get a really bright red using a copper red glaze. And then my final little video will be on doing some glaze testing using about 12 glazes and using strontium crystal magic, which is online. Everybody can get hold of that recipe. But anyway, I'm going to do a whole thing on that. But first, I wanted to show you this kiln because that's it links closely to the gas kiln, which I'll do next. Let me just tilt this right down a little bit. There we go. All right, so this is a Bailey kiln, electric, 10 cubic feet, 28, 27 I think it is. It's about 5 years old, I guess now, so it's had a lot of firings on it. When I do glaze tests, I will do bowls. You can see them behind me. Sometimes I hang them on the wall, and sometimes I just do them, and I can sell the bowl later if I want to. But this is Randy's Red, which it actually ended up being on a speckled manganese clay body, just a dull brown. I wasn't real happy with this. I expected it to be a little redder. And then this one is just a sort of an oatmeal that I have over the speckled clay, and it basically gives me just an oatmeal. But it's kind of interesting. It goes light to slightly darker where it's thicker. All right, so that's another glaze test I was doing. And then this one is the beginning of those strontium crystal magic glazes, only this time I actually double glazed it with my oatmeal over the top. I'll show you the bottom as well. See how it's breaking nicely? And it's important for food safety, of course. So strontium crystal magic, I can't imagine is food safe. So basically I put the oatmeal over the top to give it a better sort of surface touch. So this one has a silkiness to it. Let's see if I can find, actually I don't see. This was the strontium crystal magic in a different firing over the manganese clay, and this one's over the white clay. But this is straight strontium crystal magic, and it's the warm variation. But it definitely has a sort of a stone feel to it. Not much of a sheen. You can see it glossy a little bit, but I just felt like this wouldn't be food safe. This one is smoother, and that's because of my oatmeal over the top. And I also liked it better because you got the variations in the actual color. So that's got a real possibilities with that one. This one is just called Turquoise Matte. I got this one off the internet as well. So basically that has a real nice feel to it. So the surface is really sort of solid. My guess is this one would definitely be food safe. You need, for food safety, you need to have high silica content in your glazes and sort of fairly low oxide content. And I think this one was very low in copper. It was a copper glaze and all that, but and then here, this is called Seafoam, and this one was off the internet as well, over the speckled clay. All right. This is what the pandemic's doing. It's basically making us explore things we wouldn't have time for normally. So I'm kind of grateful for that. Okay, this one is my regular, it's called blue, green, copper, red, and I've got this one in the gas kiln outside too. So we'll take this out when I do my next video just to show you. And then it has my oatmeal over the top. You know, it gives it a sandy look with the kind of color of water underneath. But basically, and I did a carving in the glaze, obviously, in the clay rather. So that had a lot of nice kind of feeling to it. And it's a clay that's also oven proof, so it's got a high speckle content, grog content. That's a lid to another pot that may be in here, I assume. Okay, wow. This is a dinner set I've got for somebody. And this is the blue, green, copper, red. Now, I've changed this recipe from the one that you'll find online. And then I replaced, because tin's very expensive. And I've replaced it with 50% titanium dioxide as well as 50% tin for the original, 100% of tin oxide. So this glaze is cheaper to make and it's very glossy. I also increased the silica content when I was doing it. So, but it's very glossy, this one. So I have a whole bunch of these bowls. They were all, it's basically a dinner set somebody's ordered. So there should be 8 of those total. There's the lid to my little baking dish. There you go. Now this one's another glaze test. And this is called Ohata. I got this one online too. And compared to my normal, this one has a sort of reddish, I'm not sure if you can see it, there's a sort of reddish hue to it. But I find them very, too even. I like glazes that have texture and variance to them. This one I'm going to test with my oatmeal over the top and maybe the Crystal Magic underneath as well. So I'll do some further development of that one. But it has got a nice sheen to it, a sort of reddish hue to it as well. This is Val's turquoise, which is online. So it's a really nice turquoise. Less glossy than the turquoise, the blue, green, copper, red that I've got. I just showed you the other pieces. But it has a nice sort of deepening of color as well as the actual bright turquoise. So that has a potential as well. The inside is also really nice. And these are basically mugs that I do generally. People ask me to stamp various things on the bottom of them, basically. And we've had a very successful approach to the COVID virus. So Nova Scotia's been very proud, and we had 11 or 14 cases yesterday. But we've only got 100 cases totally active in the entire province. And we've had 0 most of the summer. So everybody has been buying these mugs. Can't get that one off. I fire on stilts. There you go. Because I'm only firing to cone 6. And these stilts actually. So you see it says Nova Scotia Strong. So people really like these mugs. And I have them in lots of colors. But let's go down. I have a whole bunch of these. See how this is my oatmeal. This is the same glaze on these 2. Oh, I'm not showing you on the camera. These are the same glazes, but obviously this one has had the dip of the oatmeal a lot further down. And this one I only dipped down about halfway, and it does run a little bit. So basically, you can see how you can change the glaze with that oatmeal over the top. And it's tin oxide in my oatmeal with titanium dioxide 50-50. Yeah, I always weaken the tin and increase the titanium dioxide when I have to use tin, because it is hugely expensive. So there's a whole variety of these. So I have to grind the bottoms of my mugs just a little bit where the stilt marks are. There you go, there's another one. Same glaze, basically. And I have a yellow glaze too, bright yellow. So I like to use that occasionally. That's just a stain. And this is a mug for that dinner set that they ordered. All right, let's get the shelf out. These are those very expensive kiln shelves. They're like, in Canadian dollars, they're like $500 a shelf. So, there you go. They're heavy still, but a lot lighter than the heavy-duty ones that we all used to use. I think they were called corduroy. Here's another one with that blue, green, copper, red. I have a dinner set order, like I said, plates, bowls, mugs, and other things with all this turquoise. That's not the lid for it. There you go, that's the lid for that one. These are the bowls again for the dinner set. Now I didn't stilt fire these because they wanted to have the raw clay on the underside, which does have a slight sheen to it. This is B-Mix that I make these out of. Laguna B-Mix. Okay, let's get those out. Yeah, we were feeling very proud of ourselves because we didn't have any COVID pretty much for about at least 3 months, maybe 4. We got rid of it in May. And it only came back about 2, maybe 3 weeks ago. That's why there's restrictions, people coming into the province, because we got rid of it altogether. That's a lid for another piece. And then the rest of this kiln are the plates for that dinner set. So small plates, large plates. These are about 10 inches, 10.5 inches across, and these are about 7-8 inches across. Probably more like 7.5. But so I don't need to go any further down. But I'm going to continue this in a separate video unloading the gas kiln in just a few minutes. So thanks for joining me for this one. Hit the subscribe button and I'll talk to you again in a few minutes.